40 votes,
Raul.
now 45 and counting. Rod
Yes.
Blagojevich now out of office here in Illinois, Ann.
It's official, and it's really no surprise. This was pretty much expected. R.J.
Rising
Levine is live down in Springfield. In fact,
Yes.
he was probably one of the last reporters down there to speak to the governor. Let's go to him now.
Yes.
Jay.
And it's a sobering moment for the state of Illinois. You're talking about 2 weeks from euphoria to absolute despair, from Illinois' Barack Obama being inaugurated as President of the United States to the impeachment and removal of office of Illinois' Rod Blagojevich, the governor. The Governor Blagojevich was somber today as he left the Senate chamber. I walked with him through a series of steam tunnels. They were trying to avoid all the cameras all the cameras that were waiting for him. But as I walked with him, he talked about the end of one chapter, the beginning of another chapter. He shook hands with those state employees who we passed along the way, and then he got into a car and he was off. He accepted the conclusion, which was a foregone conclusion at that point. But at that point, there was nothing really that he could do. He knew that his fate was sealed, and that by the end of the day, he would no longer be governor of the state of Illinois. Rob and Ann?
Yeah, he seemed to have a different tone, Jay, from the moment he walked in the Capitol today when you were talking to him, to when he gave the speech, and when you were just talking about when he left the Capitol through those steam tunnels. Would you agree?
Rob, I would. You know, the governor came in, and we've got some video of the governor as he came in, and he was walking through the crowd of reporters as he came in, and then we saw him as he moved up to the podium to address the senators. He came here this morning. He spoke for just under an hour. It was an emotional plea that was met by icy silence in the chamber. He appeared before an audience of senators, the jurors in these proceedings, and with a few brief notes, he tackled the charges one by one and then asked for their understanding.
Imagine yourself walking in my shoes. Think about you if someone said the things that they've said about me, and you know you didn't do it, but there's been a rush to judgment and an evisceration of the presumption of innocence. There was no criminal activity on those 4 tapes. You can express things in a free country, but those 4 tapes speak for themselves. Take those 4 tapes as they are, and you will, I believe, in fairness, recognize and acknowledge those are conversations relating to the things all of us in politics do. If you're impeaching me on providing safe and affordable prescription drugs, by going to Canada and getting the same medicines made by the exact same companies, then the governor of Wisconsin ought to be impeached, the governor of Kansas ought to be impeached, the governor of Vermont ought to be impeached, and while we're at it, let's go reach right into the United States Senate and let's expel John McCain and Ted Kennedy, because I worked with them on this issue of the reimportation of prescription drugs. And then let's not stop there. Let's demand that President Obama fire Rahm Emanuel, because Rahm Emanuel is the one who gave me this idea.
The vote we just saw was testimony to the reception that he got, coming after statements made during open deliberations like these. Let me read some of them. After his performance today, I wish him well in his Hollywood career. That from Kirk Dillard of Hinsdale. From Matt Murphy of Palatine. He lied about everything. From Bill Brady of Bloomington, the opportunity to close a sad chapter in state history is upon us. But the reaction to the governor's statement came well before those deliberations began. Listen to some of it.
A couple things that just struck me. When he tried to get rid of the criminal charges with the pay to play, and he said, we're all in politics, we all do this. No, we don't. That is just wrong.
This is consistent with the gibberish that I heard from defendants at 26 in California when I prosecuted cases. It's everybody else's fault, no responsibility that he takes upon himself, and as far as I'm concerned, good riddance.
Standing behind me, a state trooper guarding the door to the governor's office here, an office now vacant, as it were, at least temporarily, until Pat Quinn is sworn in as the new governor, Lieutenant Governor Quinn, about to be sworn in. I talked with Justice Ann Burke, the Supreme Court Justice, who is in this House, ready to swear Lieutenant Governor Quinn in as governor. That will happen almost immediately after this process takes place. And so the culmination of weeks, months of investigation, and then finally the impeachment proceedings, and the Senate finally took the vote. The outcome, though, was all but a foregone conclusion. And Rob and Ann, back to you.
Okay, Jay, we'll get back to you shortly. The vote, in case you wanted to know, 58 yeas for the impeachment, 0 nays, 1 no vote. That would be the Senate President, John Cullerton, who the Senate President typically does not vote unless you have to break a tie.